Hi, everybody. It's JT and CC from the CC and JT Amateur Hour. Production values go to die, and we're starting out a brand new application for our podcast, and we asked somebody to be a guinea pig. The application is called Riverside, and the guinea pig is Jacci Turner, way over there. Hi, Jackie.
Hi.
So thank you so much for being with us today. We really, really are happy that you're here.
Thank you. I love being a guinea pig.
Guinea pigs are awesome. I used to
For
have
for
some.
those for anybody in Northern Nevada knows Jackie. Anybody in Northern Nevada knows Jackie because she is a literary presence here in
Mm.
Northern Nevada, and hopefully through podcasts and video podcasts like this, we can get the bigger word out for her. But Jackie is like us, a Northern Nevada resident, been here for a while, and you are a licensed marriage and family therapist, which, by the way, just tickles us because we have one of those in our family. Our
Mm.
grandkids' other grandmother, Kappa, is also a licensed MFT. So,
Wow.
so it's a small world, but it's still pretty awesome. In the past, if I'm reading your bio here correctly, you're a retired school counselor. Awesome for you.
Hmm.
And you are president of your Christian Formation and Directory Ministry. Did I say that right?
Christian Formation Direction Ministry. Yeah.
Yeah. And so you are still working as an MFT part time and you're writing. Would you consider writing being your full time job now?
Yeah, and CFDM, which is easier to say than the other words, is also very part-time. So writing is my main joy.
Yeah. Joy.
Time suck, whatever you want to call it.
So Cece and I are about to show you something. Here we go. One, two, three.
Oh my goodness, you have my books.
We have your books. And these are incredibly important books, which I'll get to. But among your books are the ones we're going to talk about today: Tree Singer and Windcatcher. We're going to talk about the importance of these books, but also Tumbled People, the Willow books, Shipwrecked, and the Birthright series. Isn't it interesting how the people that you've interacted with can recite all these facts about your books?
Yes, it is. You know how to Google.
Well, that's true, and we have your comprehensive website. But let's talk about the two connected books, Tree Singer and Windcatcher. Tell
Okay.
us about those books. Tell us like you're trying to sell a used car, I guess.
I would be terrible at that, but I can tell you about the books. So Tree Singer is they're both young adult fantasy, and they would be considered low fantasy because there's no dragons or anything, but they do have a beautiful magic system. So Mayton, the main character, is a girl who can sing to trees to help them grow, and she gets called on a quest by the king to try to find out what's killing the forest. And she doesn't want to go, but of course she has to go. And so that's the first book. And then Windcatcher, which came out a couple days ago and is
Ooh, that's such a pretty cover.
It's
yeah,
beautiful.
I've got great covers on these. I have a wonderful cover designer. And it follows the same main character, Mayton, but this time the king asked her to go throughout the three clans on the island and try to get candidates to be the next king or queen. So as she's doing that, she's sucked into another problem that's happening on the island, which is something is hurting the water. So there's underlying echo themes. There are echo books, ecology books, as well as young adult fiction fantasy stories.
Well, and I guess that falls in the trend because the one thing I definitely wanted to ask you about is the books that you write. Cece and I, we write books because we have stories to tell. But it seems to me
Mm.
like the books that you write, for example, what you just said, an ecology book, and Cracker, which of course is about relations, race relations. These are incredibly
Hmm.
important books that, like you're trying not so much to change the world, but try to make the world a better place. Is that a fair definition?
Yes, my books, my tagline is infusing reality with hope because I think we live in a very difficult world, but there is hope, and so all my books have hopeful themes, even the difficult ones. But there's always a justice element of some kind in the book.
So, I haven't finished. I'll be candid. I haven't finished Love Virus yet. CC, did you finish it?
I did, and I
Mm.
went into it. I was feeling a little bit hesitant, for obvious reasons because of the subject matter. But I have to say, the reviews I read where it said that it was very hopeful and heartwarming, I found that to be the case. It did bring up some, difficult, I guess, memories of that time period because it's still pretty fresh. But I think the way it was handled was excellent, and I really enjoyed it. The main characters, the way they interacted, it was just, it was a wonderful story all the way through. So I really enjoyed Love Virus, and I don't know if you have any plans to do anything else with those characters, but I would love to learn more about them because they were fun.
Oh, thank you. I don't, but who knows? I didn't have an idea for a sequel to Tree Singer either. But so the time period that Cassidy's referring to is the pandemic. So it's 5 years behind us, but still very present in our lives. And it does, it takes you right back
Mhm.
to those, because I wrote it actually during the pandemic. And so it's pretty accurate time-wise and memory-wise. But thankfully, it is also hopeful, right?
Yes.
Heartwarming.
So, where does this where does this come from? What is, and I may be getting ahead bit because I think this is almost one of the questions we were going to ask you at the end. But so, where does this motivation come from? Because to write these hopeful books, because some folks, they'll their motivation is money, and so they will write, like zombie books or vampire books, those kind of books where there's definitely a taste for that. There's
Mhm.
definitely a market for that. So where does your, I don't want to say motivation, but where maybe that is the right
Maybe
word. Where does your motivation come from?
inspiration?
Pardon me?
Yeah.
Maybe inspiration?
Yeah, where
Yeah.
does that come from?
Well, I worked with young people my whole life in, kindergarten through college. And I guess my motivation is, and I'm a therapist, I work with trauma people, people with trauma. And yeah, I guess the resilience of people is something that's very interesting to me. And so finding characters finding their voice against oppression. I don't know, I started marching against injustice. So I can't even remember how long ago, probably during college. I still do that. To me, the justice issues are just very important, but I also believe that people are resilient and can overcome horrible things. So I think that's fascinating, the resilience of the human spirit.
Okay, so let's dive into these questions that we sent you, and just as a preface for our listeners and watchers, we happen to be big fans of Inside the Actors Studio and with James Lipton. And at the end of each broadcast, he would ask his guests these series of questions, and elicit some interesting responses. So, out of fairness to Jackie, you sent her the questions well in advance, so you have some time to contemplate these answers. So none of this is going to be a surprise. But let's go down this list. And the first question is what was your I am an honest to goodness writer moment?
Well, I mean, I still go through, doubting that, but the first time I remember was I had written Bending Willow, the first book in the Finding Home series, about 2012, I think. And I got a call from a librarian, a local librarian, and she said, "We want to take your book to represent Nevada at the Washington, D.C. Book Festival." And I was like, "What?" I mean, it hadn't even come out yet on in paper. It had only come out on ebook. It was still, I'm like, "How did you even know about this book?" And I don't know how they knew about the book. But I think I figured out later it has a very Nevada context. The kids go to Burning Man briefly. And I think that's why. But because of that, I got to go to the National Book Festival. My daddish paid my way to go. He said, "You can't be there if your book's not here. Your book's there. You have to go." So that was like a huge experience for me to just see and be there and be a part of it and see my book on the table. That made me feel legitimate.
Wow, that's impressive.
That's really
Kudos.
cool.
So, who is your writing role model and why?
I love Madeline L'Engle. And Madeline L'Engle wrote the Time Quartet, which started with, um, what was the name of that first book?
Was the first one A Wrinkle in Time?
Yeah, A Wrinkle in Time. That's the
Yep.
first one. And I love her for many reasons. One, she's a deep person of faith, as am I, but she's also a scientist, and she used to vacuum with the kids around the house and think about metaphysics, as we do. Um, she's just a fascinating person, but she's so deep, and she really meets God in nature. So I was re-looking at her book. This is
Ooh.
called Walking on Water. It's her book about writing. And she says, when I'm constantly running, there is no time for being. And when there's no time for being, there's no time for listening. And she goes on to say, we can't be creative if we're not listening to the natural world, which I just love. So I would have to say Madeline L'Engle.
That's very cool.
That's a very good choice. Very good choice. What do you love about writing?
I love when an idea captures me. And it comes from, as you know, from very strange places. It could be something I read or something someone said or just a random thought that I had. But then it like captures me and I'm like, oh. Usually it comes like a what if. Like I was
Hmm.
staring at a tree, literally, a nice big redwood. And I thought, what if you could sing to that tree and help it grow? And that's the idea that ignited Tree Singer. So I love that feeling of just being caught by an idea.
What do you absolutely dread about writing?
I dread editing. I don't know. Some people love it, but like for instance, Windcatcher, I wrote it. It was perfect. I had two friends read it. They said it was perfect. I sent it to my editor, and she's like, "Oh no, no, no!
Yes.
This is not. We need at least three more chapters, and you need to, completely rewrite this theme." And I was like, so then I usually cry for a while, and then I put the book away for a while, and then I go back and go, "Yeah, she's right. Okay." She's just helpful, and I'm always grumpy.
I think we're all on board with that because
Uh,
I know both JT and I have recently been through editing, and it's painful. You do think your baby is, perfect, but it's not.
It is not. Nope.
what single significant life experience affects your writing, good or bad?
Good is the fact that I have an extremely supportive family. My daughter, my husband, my son, they're like my biggest fans. And even all of our bonus kids, we have a lot of them. They're like, you can do it. Go, mom. You got this. And if you don't have a cheerleading crowd around you, I think it would be really hard to do, which is why writing groups are so important. Plug for
Hmm.
writing groups. And I know you're going to ask what was the second question? The hard part?
Uh,
Yeah.
what
What
part?
would
Oh,
I
be
said the.
oh yeah.
Would you?
if there
Oh.
was
No.
a something life experience that would affect your writing in a negative way, maybe?
Oh yeah, yeah, because you said positive or negative.
Hmm.
Probably marketing because
Oh,
that
yes.
is I can just hang out in that world. I'm an extrovert, which is really weird for an author. So I have fun on TikTok, I have a good time, but yeah, that probably affects my ability. In fact, all of May, I just have been doing crazy book stuff that I love. I love, love, love. I'm ending it at a retreat the whole weekend. It's going to be writing weekend, but at least I'll get to write. I have not gotten to write for weeks. So, marketing, yeah,
Hmm.
writing stuff.
Would you recommend the writing life to a loved one and why?
I I think anybody who has a story should write it because I think the world needs our voices. I would also caution anybody who wanted to do that to not put the burden of their creativity on their finances, like to pretend that you're going to make a living at this right away or maybe ever. That is a huge burden that would depress anybody who started out as an author. So go in it with your eyes open. Keep your day job. I still keep my day job just so I can do writing stuff. And, that's the reality for me.
And last question, what is something fun and unexpected from your past that we won't see in your bio?
So when I was about 40, 45, I think I had a midlife crisis or something because I was walking by a martial arts studio and I'd never even been in one before. And I walked in and signed up and I have a black belt.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
That is surprising.
Well, it's pretty old by now, but yeah, don't mess with me.
Well, and forgive me for saying this, but the first time that we met in person, you kind of took us both by surprise because we both looked at you and you said, "Oh my gosh, she's so tall." You
Well, you're
and
tall too.
well, tall people rule. Sorry, Cece. But
Yes, I
so
know. I'm
that
short.
fact on top of everything else is like, wow, that is fascinating.
Yeah, well, we had kickboxing, which I always got big trophies in because my legs are long and I could kick in the head. And if you can kick in the head, it's 3 points.
Wow.
That's so
That's
awesome.
amazing.
Okay, so let's wind this up with a little last self promotion. Where can we find you on the internet, Jackie?
Well, my name is spelled Jacci Turner, which is spelled the normal way. So basically, I have a website, JackieTurner.com, and you can find me on most all social media under Jackie Turner or at Jackie Turner Author. My name is my brand.
Okay, so anyway, thank you for joining us today, Jackie. I hope this wasn't a terrible, painful experience.
No, it's
And
wonderful.
hopefully we'll see you this weekend at the literary community, Sierra Arts Literary Community on Sunday.
Mm. At two
For
o'clock
now,
downtown.
so again, over there, CC, I'm JT for the CC and JT Amateur Hour. You can check us out at our website at www.carsonhume.com. We are all over the internet, so feel free to check us out, check out our books. This post will be up soon with the links to Jackie's website so you can check out her books. And please check out her books because they are very important in this day and age, more than ever. So for now, thank you, everybody. Thank you for being here. Take care. Bye bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.